so excited today to have here as our guest, Karen Elizabeth, all the way from Brockville, Ontario. Hello, Karen.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for submitting the application for this series. I am so pumped about the whole series and getting to know all the different people that have applied and have been involved with Shimmy and what they do. And with you especially, I'm happy because that you applied, because you are part of the My Challenge fitness group. So I see you every day in the group and we're working out and we get to chat. So there's a little special bond there. So that's exciting for me. So I have questions that we don't usually talk about when we do the workouts, because that's what we're doing.
That's fine.
So tell me, Karen, how did you get into belly dance?
Into belly dance. Okay, so belly dance specifically, I was 15 years old, and I've always been a tomboy. And my mom, who's a very sexy Puerto Rican woman, decided I needed to become more feminine and more like softer, I guess. And so she dragged me to my first belly dance class, and I loved it. There's very much similarities with some of the dancing from Puerto Rico, which is where I was born. And yeah, and I'm still tomboy though. That didn't fizz, but I love the dancing. It really spoke to me.
So was your mom a belly dancer? Was she?
My mom took it, not to perform, but just, she always loved it. She grew up with, I don't know if anybody would know Tongolele, who was a Spanish dancer with a long hair with a white streak in her hair, who used to shimmy and shake, and you know, the black and white movies in Puerto Rico. And so that was her fantasy, but growing up, she wasn't allowed. It was frowned upon to move or dance. So when she got older, she broke free. Belly dance was her way, really and truly.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So before you went to that belly dance class, had you taken any dance class before?
Yes, I took with Jose Betancourt in Puerto Rico, and we took a modern, but not contemporary, like actual, like Martha Graham modern, which is very hard hitting and focuses on emotions. And we took ballet, and we took American jazz. So not ballet jazz, but the American jazz, a little bit harder, a little bit more masculine type. And we took African dance.
African, cool. That's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
That gets right to the heart with the drum beat.
It speaks to you. And since then, after that, we moved to St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So all the Caravana stuff also spoke to me. And I find all of that together has really helped me in my belly dance journey.
That is awesome. So now, Karen, you've participated as a team leader with Shimmy Mob for how many years? How many
Five.
times? 5 years.
5. Yeah, 2012. Yeah.
So what got you, how did you find out about it, and how did you get, like, what prompted you to get involved?
This is an interesting story. Okay, so I went to the International Belly Dance Conference in Toronto, and I met a lady from British Columbia who was in your first ever Shimmy Mob.
Who was that?
Sandra Tenemura Nelson.
Okay, she's from Prince George, actually.
Yes, and then she's moved. Anyway, so we kept in touch through Facebook. We hit it off, and I loved her dancing and I loved what she represented, because she's a big woman and she's not afraid to be a big woman and to show her fabulousness. So I was just blown away by her dancing, and we just became friends, as belly dancers do. We connect and we keep in touch. So I also have a friend in New Zealand, thanks to the same. And she mentioned Shimmy Mob. And it tied in really well with stuff that happened in my life with my first belly dance teacher. So the issues of domestic violence and the dancing kind of blended together really well for me. And it's something I believe in strongly. So women's empowerment is something I believe in strongly.
Mm-hmm. But you didn't just sign up to just be one of the dancers. You signed up to be a team leader. Well,
in Brockville, before this, I started teaching. Just kind of, it was strange how it happened. The teachers striked at the school, and they were asking for stuff, and I said, I know this dance, and I did some of the ethnic, like the folklore. And that went really well, but I had nowhere to, I didn't know, I'm not from Rockville originally, so I didn't know who, the girls wanted to know where they could take classes, and I didn't know who to refer them to. So that was the 1 year. And then some friends asked, and I did a little bit at my mother's house, and I said, just, you know, give the money to my mom because you're my friend, and like whatever you want to. So I can, and then I saw other things, and I realized there was nobody here. And then I volunteered for this Shepherd's Welcome Center, which is seniors, because my mom's diabetic, so I wanted to keep her moving, and I knew she would belly dance. She won't do other exercises, but she'll belly dance. So I started that, and then I started teaching, and it just kind of evolved. And then, so that was 2008 that I actually started teaching classes, and 2012 that I took Shimmy Mob. And it was also because of the awareness issue, and because it's just not here, and been trying to open up the area to be more accepting of our dance.
Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned before in the past that the involvement of your charity, that you starting to see that they're getting more involved and they're connecting more. Can you share more about that? And you mentioned something about how the t-shirts, the poem on the t-shirts affect.
Oh yes. Well, I had a good support with the representative. It's taken a while to open things up, and I've noticed just every year we have like the media is more open and everything. But this year, when we did the Shimmy Mob dance for the Men in Heels event, we were wearing our shirts, and I was standing in front of the area where all the volunteers from the staff and volunteers from Interval House, and I overheard them talking about the poem in the back, and they were quite moved. And after we were done, they thanked us, they very sincerely thanked us. And the same thing with the Hafla. I do a Hafla as well. And we had volunteers, workers from the shelter, and they were very moved, and they said they felt very loved. And I'm gonna get emotional, but yes, it just felt, you know, even though they didn't know any of the dancers, they're all from out of town, but they felt very loved and very supported in everything that they do, because we acknowledge them. Their job is hard. It's a hard job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that's one of the, like, places like that, you have people that are volunteering, even if they're working, getting paid for it, that they have to be empathetic, you know, and of course they take whatever they see and whatever they hear, it goes home with them. So yes, it is a very, very challenging job, and sadly they don't get enough funding. Some of them do, some of the organizations do, but a lot of them don't. So that's one of the reasons why we, you know, try to help get enough.
The thing that I found out here is that, so our shelter is supported in Canada. I don't know how it is in the US, but in Canada, our shelter is supported by United Way a little bit, but they're funded by the beds, by the number of beds, not by the number of people. So quite often they're at 130 to 200% capacity. So what that means is that the money they don't get any extra for toilet paper or Kleenex or diapers or food or anything. They only get enough for 10 beds. So what was explained to me is that our events help provide all of that extra, plus
Mm-hmm.
awareness. And their focus is really about bringing awareness, and our events like ours do that.
Mm-hmm. So are you saying that if they're only covering enough for the bed, just for based on beds, are there like some moms sleeping with kids in the same bed, or are there beds being shared?
What happens is they try to find other locations. Sometimes women are stuck and they end up having to wait.
Mm-hmm.
They have excellent outreach programs, but really when it comes to the actual safety issues, they can only take so many. And they've had people like sharing beds or in with mattresses, you know, and you know, that's all they can do, because they cover all of Leeds and Grenville, which is a huge area. But because we're smaller towns, it's beds, you know, and quite often they'll have to send somebody out of the city because they just don't have the resources.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, I don't know, how do you feel about, like, you've heard me say this before, and I feel so strongly about creating the awareness. And when I say that, it's not about just creating the awareness of the shelters where there is help, but also to recognize abuse early enough so that we can prevent this whole process of having to even end up in this situation. It's typically people that are in abusive situations don't see it, don't recognize it, because they just don't know how to recognize the signs and really get into it.
Big part of it. Big part of it. I feel the knowledge is key. That's the first step. There's many ways that they've come up with to get information out without making it apparent that the person is accessing. One year, the shelter rep just did bookmarks that got handed out to everybody, so nobody could be blamed because they had it, because everybody had it. We put the emergency contact number, but it is about creating awareness that you are being abused, and also that they're not alone.
Right.
That they're not alone. And one of the things I said in a talk that I did 2 years ago at the Brock for Women in Business is that abusers want us to make us shrink, and they want to make us disappear. So I love the belly dance because yes, we're going to have color, and we're going to have jewelry, and we're going to have makeup, and we're going to make a splash, and we're going to make noise, and we're going to make sure that everybody knows that we're here. Because they try to make you disappear. They try to make you shrink. They try to make women, like a specific type of abuser, they just want you to be quiet and do what they tell you and just shut up. So we're not going to shut up. And that's why that poem is so powerful, because it says we're giving them a voice.
Yeah.
And we're not going to let them make people disappear. We're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It means a lot.
Yeah. No, that is so. That is so powerful what you just said. I don't know if you realize how powerful that is. Just saying we, you know, especially with the combination with belly dance, because here I am, the one who put this thing together. I didn't even think about it that way, because when, you know, I remember sometimes it's happened in the past where people ask, well, why would you use belly dance? Where some people think it's so sexy. Well, I guess it is. And, you know, why would you use that when you're trying to, you know, avoid the whole abuse issue, and you're trying to, like, some people think it's a contrast, right? But to me, I've always seen it as, you're a woman, celebrate your femininity. But now we're getting more men involved as well. So I can't say celebrate your femininity when we have men and children involved. So I like what you just said. I think it just makes so much more sense that we're here, we're visible, we're going to be out there. We're going to be out there. We're not going to shrink.
And also, like, it's like trying to blame the woman. So you have to, if you don't want to be abused, you have to not be a woman. You have to turn yourself into a man. You can't be sexy. You can't be fluid. You can't move. You can't walk. You can't sway your hips when you walk, which is very natural. That's natural, right? And to me, the belly dance part is like, no, this is who we are. We're women, and it's not our problem that you can't control yourself, or that you're behaving a certain way. Like, if a man rips off his shirt walking down the street, it's supposed, like, no, there's no women attacking him, you know. And I'm like, so we're gonna, like, so dancing should be a good enough reason? No, like, we're women, and we're gonna celebrate it. And then of course my first dance instructor was, you know, I think I mentioned to you before that she was my first belly dance instructor, and I basically helped her run away from her husband. So it took me 3 years at the halfway before I thought, wait a minute, that is the connection. That it was, you know, she was a belly dancer, she was beautiful, and the more she bloomed, the more problems she had, and so then she called me up and said, I need help, and we just got her out.
Wow, that's great that you were able to help her. But I do want to add something to what you said, because I just want to make sure that people watching this and listening don't think that we're just that we're just saying that only women are abused. There are men that are abused, that have been abused, are being abused by female spouses, by female partners. So I want to make sure that, you know, it is known to everyone that this is not a one-sided cause. Abuse is across the board. I personally know men who are being abused right now, emotionally abused by their partner, and it's devastating, just as much for men as it is for women. The only difference is men don't talk about it as much.
Yes.
And so we don't know if we actually even know what the real statistics are for men, because right now we just know that 1 in 7, but it could be higher. It could be higher. We don't
I
know.
think it's higher.
Yeah.
I've known men that have been abused, and I find that the cause or the excuses made are different.
What do you mean?
So like with women, I find that that the men will, they will pick on, your hair, your makeup, excuses, whether it's assault or whatever. With a man, it seems to be a little bit different as to how the woman will pick at him. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think it is more of an abuser is an abuser, and whether it's a woman or a man, I think what the tactic is, they try to undermine you where you
Yes.
feel most vulnerable at.
Right.
And obviously, men are going to be vulnerable in different areas than women are.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that's what but I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the mother of 2 boys, and I never want them to be put in that situation. So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
I feel
sure.
strongly about abuse of any kind, regardless of race, gender, orientation. And I say that before every performance. It's not just about women. It's just that our shelter at the moment is, because there's only 10 beds.
Oh my goodness.
So the hope, the dream is that someday we can get it big enough that we can help everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But they can get resources even at this shelter up to where they can get help,
And you can do that through dance and more dance and more dance. And you have something coming up. You have an event in September.
Yes, we have one in September. It's Culture Days here in Brockville. We're going to be dancing September 30th. At 11 and at 1:30. So we're gonna do, my friends from Kingston and Trenton are coming to dance, and we're gonna do our Shimmy Mob dance. There's Trenton Shimmy Mobbers that are joining us. There's Kingston Shimmy Mobbers that are joining us.
Yay!
And the interesting thing, they didn't have a team in Kingston this year because of circumstance, but the one lady was traveling worldwide, and she found her Shimmy Mob team in the city she was gonna be on that day, and she signed up and she danced, I think it was in London. And she's back, and she's going to join us.
Oh, nice.
On the 30th. So the Shimmy Mob, you can just find a Shimmy Mob someplace, anywhere around the world. Doesn't matter where you are.
It's so true. You can even plan your trip around where the Shimmy Mob teams are.
And she did a lot of that. She was networking all over the place to find her team. And so we're going to have that, and we might have a drummer. I'm really hoping we do have a drummer.
Oh, that'll be fun.
That'll be fun.
So much fun. So if people want to find out about the event, on how to come to the event, or even finding out where you teach and your classes and your lessons, can you tell us what you said you don't have a website at this point. You do have a Facebook page where people can find out?
Yeah. It's Aaliyah Dance, but it's under Exploration Through Dance.
Okay, we will make sure we'll have a link here in the video so that people can see.
Yes, and the Culture Days, if you go to Culture Days, it's a government-funded event. If you go to Culture Days, it'll be under Aaliyah, and you go to Brockville, it'll have a list of all the events, and we're under Aaliyah Dance and Friends and Shimmy Mob.
That is fantastic.
That's how we listed. And the times are probably going to change because I've had such a good response from my dance friends that I think we're going to have to make it a little longer.
Cool.
Yeah.
So how much dance time do you have at this event?
At the moment, I was doing half hour chunks.
Yeah.
Because I thought they're driving so far, I thought that would be a lot for them to do all at once. But I think I'm going to have to make it an hour.
Cool.
And then who knows what happens with the drummer? Yeah, because my Syrian friend requested that we be in front of his store, and I said, "You bring the drummer, I'll dance." So cool. You never know. You never know. I promised though, so once I promise, I do it.
So what's the date of this again?
September 30th.
September 30th in Brockville.
In Brockville.
Ontario, Canada. For those watching this, clarify, this is in Canada, Ontario.
Yes.
So everybody watching is planning on being in Canada or just wants to take a trip. There's great events coming up.
And we're a big tourist town, so they can come and just enjoy the fun.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much, Karen, for joining us in this series. And it's been absolutely lovely talking to you. I know I'll see you in my challenge group for our other stuff, but this is stuff I didn't know. So
Well, thank you. Thank you for all you do, because it's been a great thing, and we make friends through this, and we create support groups, and I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate that people know that there is a place to go, and that we will stand for them. So
Yes, well,
and
that's
belly
what we're here for.
dancing too, of course.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Doing belly dancing, you can't go wrong if you're belly dancing.
That's true, you can't go wrong. Well, thank you so much, Karen. And I hope to maybe one of these days come and maybe dance together. Maybe in Ontario, maybe you'll come here in Vancouver, or maybe at some Shimmy Mob event that we'll be putting up in the future. We'll be putting on in the future.
That'd be great. That would be great, and can go on my bucket list. Things to do.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching the Shimmy Mob video spotlight series. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a comment below. And if you would like to be featured in the future, send us an email at shimmymob@gmail.com.